Okay, this is Mark, video 10. Okay, this is like watching paint dry for some people, I'm sure. I don't think I'm going to get that many YouTube followers for this. Okay, here's where we were. The minor issue I ended up with is I've got my entire drawing kind of shifted off by a little bit. And, you know, sometimes I have to go look up on how you do things. So my issue is that I wanted to move my edge of my board to be on one of the snap points. That's a snap point. That traces nod. Now, if I put my cursor on this thing and hit an E, it tells me where this segment is. The segment is at 3.97928933. I would really want it to be a nice 3.9 or something on that order. You know, in fact, I'd like it to be at 4, but I can't move it by 1/10 of an inch. I need to move it by a really odd amount. And so that's what I was looking at, and is how do I do that? Now, if I zoom into the whole board and I swipe and select the whole thing again, what I need to do is move it by that fractional amount so I get it back on a step point. Then I can move it exactly where I want it. So, you know, I actually looked at, just you know, even the locations of like this connector, it's also at that 7928933. So what I want to do is subtract that off of everything on the board. So let me zoom out just a smidge farther, select it all, and then instead of the M key to say move, I'm going to do a Shift M, and it says move item. Well, I've selected everything. So what I want to put in here, this is X and Y and rotate 0. So, but I can come in here and actually put in the 0.79289933. I just copied and pasted that to another spot, so I didn't have to remember all the digits. But I want it to go negative. So let me go back and put a minus sign in front of that. And that'll subtract that amount off of everything. So when I say OK, you should see this drawing shift just a little bit. Okay, so now if I zoom back in, let me hit the escape key out of this. And now I come up here and I hit the E key on this segment. We're now at 3.9 and the Y is at 3. Okay, I want it to be 4. I'll fix that in a second. But even the connectors, this was at 4 and 4.2. Okay, so I'm really close to what I want. So I want to shift this whole thing over 1/10 of an inch. Let me just flip my grid to 1/10, swipe it all, do an M key to say I want to move it, and I just move it move it to there. How are we not still where we want to be? See, that doesn't look right yet. So I'm still not happy with something here. It's doing some really funny moves here, and I'm not sure why. Because I should be able to put it right on a spot. Okay, there's my inch by inch point, but I'm off yet. Let me just undo this here. Let me do my shift move, and I say I want to move it by 0.1. Where does that put me? That puts me where I want to be. So now my starting point's at 4.3. Nice on inch boundaries. My connector's where I want it to be. So everything looks pretty good. And that one is too. Okay. So what I want is I can actually go ahead and decide how big the board is going to be at this point. I want to bring this down just a little bit. And I think I can move this specific one. That is exactly 2 inches. There's the 1 inch dot there. There's the other 1 inch dot. So that is exactly where I want it. This trace is a little bit long right now. Let me just delete that. So I have to redraw that one. But so this connector has to move too, but I knew that was going to move. So let me zoom in here. And I should have the arc is still at 0.1. I want to be in the edge cuts layer because I want to edge cuts. And I want to draw an arc. And center of the arc from there to there. Okay. The connector is going to move. Let me just move that out of the way. Oops. I didn't get all of it. We can actually select and deselect things. It got the labels for those 2 parts there. I want to got that. Okay. Well, let me just leave that there for the moment. Actually, we can move it in parts. Okay, so here's the other one. Arc. I want the center be there. Start here and go to there. Okay, so now we are exactly 2 inches. We've got the arcs. These are 1/10 inch drawings. That's that. I want a line here. Okay, so there is our board. It is 1.5 inches. I would pick something else. Let me go this. 1.5 inches, and the top should be exactly 2. And it is 2. So this is the board we're shooting for. 1.5 by 2 inches. Okay, we got 42 traces left, and I think everything is pretty much where we want it. I'm going to move. So I still have some things up here to deal with, but there are no unrouted traces down below. So we're in good shape there. I think everything is looks good. We got the memory chip that has to be in. We've got a few things over here. I don't know if I like, let's see, what do we got? We got the switch can go there. That's not a problem. Let's just go down here and fix a couple of things. Oh, I've still got my step size set really big. Okay, I got this cap. The ground is there, 3.3 is there. If I just put it this way, it'll be just fine. And I can wire that in. This is 3.3 already. So let me just bring this out. I have to be 6 mils at that point to get off of this guy. The ground is right there. That can be bigger. Let's go for just something bigger. Okay. So now we need, let's see, is that close enough to where I need to be with this? This doesn't look too bad. I mean, I can get the wires in. That's the important thing. That's got to have a ground trace on it and doesn't have one yet. So we still have to have a ground going up there. 5 volts there. Ground's there. You know, we could bring the ground straight up on the red side. I mean, here's a heavy ground, and that's a big tray, so we can just take it directly. Let's do a 24. There. Down to 39. Now I've got these 4 traces that need to come out, and I got the memory chip stuff that needs to come out, but these guys are probably going to rule in terms of just getting things out of here. We've got the, oh, I want to put that IRDA connector in the right spot, or I2C for the display. Let me move this guy. And I'd kind of like the display to be located somewhere in the middle. And, you know, maybe a 1/10 inch from the edge, stuff like that. So if I come in here, I don't want the reference, I want the whole thing. So if I say 4. The middle of this thing is what? Let me get it to a 50 mil snap. Let me go to 4 and 3.1. So I could be on 1/10 inch centers. And that's actually for pin 1. But now if I move it, I want to be on 50s. So I can say move. Oh, that's not the right snap yet. Put that back before I do something goofy. Snap, I want that. Okay. Now move. Eventually I'll get to what I need. Let's try that. That's better. Let's see where'd that end up at. 4.6 by 3.1. You know, that's close enough. That's near the center of everything. I've got ground and 3.3 right there. The SCL, SDA, those need to connect to those 2 resistors. These guys are more to do with the switches. They also come off of pin 1 over here. So let me move these guys around a little bit. Change this back down to something small. Okay. And these guys get a move. I wonder if I can, I mean, they really need to go into here. Let's see if I can move that up. But just at the moment, that's too far. Let's go a little bit off, but I want to go up. So I can put this up here, and then these guys, that's the SCL line, and there's the SDA. Okay, This is just ground to 3.3. And I can just drop that right in there. May not be the best layout, but it might work. You know, how big is the switch? That might work. I mean, it has to connect to the R7, R8, and pin 1 of U3 anyway, so that may not be too bad. Now, if I can get these traces in here, then everything will be just hunky-dory. We're getting really pretty close. Okay, so next up I want to do is I want to get these SCL SDA lines connected. Now, these are also, this connector is through hole, so everything is on both sides of the board. So if I can just run the trace on the blue layer, straight down, put them on vias, and put them in. I wonder if I'll get myself in trouble. Let's try that. Let's go back to a 6mm trace, and I just want to come out, and I want a via, but it's got to be as low as possible. And then I'm going to stop there, because if I can't get the other via in, that doesn't make any help, doesn't help us much. Okay. Now the other ones are the two LEDs drivers. Yeah, those are the LEDs on these two lines. And so I'm down to the point where I can, any which way I can route them, it'll be fine. Let's put another pair of vias up here for those, and then just bring them through. Or do I have to get anything else up there? Well, the grounds have got to go up. That can be on. Yeah, let's make 2 more vias. Now, let's see here. Let's get it close and see if we can just be good with that. Okay. Okay. Now, looking, I've got them close. Now, these are kind of flipped from where I need them to be. I mean, this guy would be much better off in that position. And this guy, much better in that one. But the traces go straight, so I could just route those. These two. That's the 5-volt line. I could use a heavy ground line for that. I need a few grounds. Where's my nearest ground? That's a ground. But that's not going to do me much good. Oh, yeah, it's fine. Trace big. Down to 33. You know, with the ground on that side of the switch, let me just take the switch and reverse it, and I can just do the ground. It also connects to this guy. That's easy enough. It's kind of funky kink there. Let me just do this. Now those are signals. And I still got the 3.3 line that needs to come in. It needs there, it needs there. What do I got over here for 3.3? That's the 3.3 bus there. There's the first one that comes up. I might go ahead and throw a via on the 3.3 line. Oh, it's got one right there. Now I've got the two blue lines that are come straight up. This one goes to SDA. This one goes to SCL. There's the one. Now can I get this one in? Why are we not drawing a trace? Whenever it does something really funky, I'm really tempted to, I can't quite get through there. Okay. Now if I slide, because I want to be on that side of it, so I need to go through here. These two guys need to be pushed up. So if I just grab this thing, I think a G command, I can just slide it up a notch or two. And then a G command on this one. Just enough to get through. Is that enough? It tells me that it doesn't like some things. Let's see if that'll do it though. That is enough. Okay. Okay, we're down to 29 traces left. Some of these are piece of cake. Let me get those in here while we're at it. Back to red. Heavy trace, because this is power and ground stuff. Let me just do the ground. 3.3. The 3.3. That. But this SCL line needs to connect to that. That's probably not the best place for it. Let me go ahead and delete this back off. Let me connect those. Those are 6 mil. From there to there. There to there. Okay, so I still got to connect this one across. That's not a big deal. We'll make it big, and we may have to crop it back down a little bit. Okay. Well, that cap is a little bit extra because, I mean, this cap for the display is so close to the chip. It's a bypass cap. It looks pretty good. I'm going to leave it there for the moment, but I'll probably either remove it or just get rid of it. Okay, so that's all covered. We're down to 22 traces. The other switch connections need to be connected here. We got a 3.3. We got the switch itself. We can move these around to a little bit better option here. Let me just move this guy out for a second here. Because there's the 3.3 and there's the other piece. So if I just put this here, then I can connect it. Don't need a huge trace on that 3.3. That's just a pull-up line. Let's do, let's do 12 mil. On the red side, that, okay. Can we get through here? There's that. The rest of it's 6 mils. Signal lines, okay. That one. Let's do there. We'll move labels around later so we can make it all go. Okay, 18 left. Getting down there. We've got a ground that needs to go in. And I need these 3 and these 3 need to connect yet. I'm wondering if they're going to end up on the other side. So let me connect these 3 first. Then I want to look at what, I don't even remember what this is. I think that's the A to D converter stuff. That should be easy. 6 mils. $15 left. Okay. See, that goes to the middle one. Interesting. I'm going to go clear over here. See, it would go through there. It won't let me go through between pins. Oh, it will. It will. Okay. I was just trying to keep the ground in a good spot, but that doesn't. I'm going to have to do a via on one of them. Okay. Okay. Yeah, as you're routing, just hit the V key and it'll flip you to the other side. Okay. And the ground can now connect straight, so we want to go to a larger trace and just take that down. 11 traces left. Okay, we got C9, C5, C3, R5. Yeah, that is the powering of the A to D converter, and we kind of want to filter that a little bit. So let me look at the schematic. So let me move these around just a little bit. C3, R5, and C5. Let's go back to the schematic for a second. There's C5. That just goes to ground from those 2 pins. C3 is the 100K C3 to ground. Okay. And those are just grounds. Let me move. Let's see, I got 5 volts there. And then C3. Put the ground at the top. Because I've already got a ground right over there. Now let me do this. I still got the 24 selected. Let me just do this. And then that has to be tiny because that's all we can connect to the processor. So this one goes to here, and that one goes to there. 7 unrouted. C5 can go pretty close to that. Let me move that. The trace from here to there. I need a ground. I mean, there's my grounds. That's a ground on the other side. You know, we're getting close to the end. We can probably just do it. Make it big. Let's come off on the blue side. That connected a bunch of things. I've still got the 3.3 there that isn't connected to the rest of the 3.3, but here is 3.3. So let me take that 3.3 and extend it. Well, actually, we can take it from here. Excuse me. Okay. 4 left. Okay. And 2 of them are right there. Where are my other 2? Well, let's ground at 3.3. Let me just go ahead and I'm going to connect this in. Because I got a ground, I've got 3.3. Let me just connect it there. Okay. 2 traces left. So where am I at? What did I miss? Save my work. Objects. Rat's nest. You know, we can just say run the design rule check. Run Unconnected items. Oh, there's one. Where's the other one? That's the other thing to the side. And that one's got to go. Okay. That one might be tougher. VReg out. It's got to go to there. Okay. Let's take care of the easy one first. Here's the easy one. 3.3. Trace. 6 mils. VReg out has got to go to that trace. So, I could is there room there? Like that. 0 in router. Okay, so now we can go back and run the design rule check again. The silk screen, all the silk screen errors, we haven't looked at that yet. And we'll fix that up in the next video. Silk screen overlap, and that's all. That's awesome. Okay, back out. So here's the completed layouts. My issue is now is the labels are all in the bad spots, and we will move those around before we look at possibly ordering the board. Good place to stop.